Hey, y'all.
Hola, welcome to 30 Minutes Down South. She's Allison.
And he's Carlos, and we are two top producing realtors.
With two extremely different Southern upbringings.
Join us each week as we explore the Lake Murray area with our special guests.
Welcome, Allison.
Hello, Carlos.
So, I'm not sure the number of this episode, and we're going to call it 37, but
Okay.
because we had to jump back and forth with other episodes that we recorded just because we had Santa
Yes.
last time. And so anyway,
Trying to squeeze all the holiday stuff in right now.
I don't think people really care what number episode this
They
is.
don't. But they are going to care about our next guest.
Which I'm extremely surprised. I thought that I was going to be the one bringing all the baseball people to our show, and guess what?
Who knew? I know people too.
She knows people too. Baseball people
That's
too.
right. So we
baseball
have,
people that I didn't know.
I know. We have Brad Shank. He is president of the Columbia Fireflies, and he's going to come on to talk a little baseball, little community efforts, and especially tell us about the holiday lights that they have going on down there. So let's hear what he has to say.
Let's hear it. And welcome, Brad Shank, president of the Columbia Fireflies.
Yes. Thanks so much, Brad, for coming on with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We have a local celebrity in Chapin that most of us didn't even know about, probably. So I had the pleasure of meeting your wife and finding out about you, and we thought you would be a great guest for our show. So if you'll start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, about the Columbia Fireflies program, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, it's good to have. My wife is my best PR person. Usually out promoting the Fireflies, maybe harder than I am. So, yeah, but I like you said, I'm the team president here. I've been with the Fireflies since Segra Park was just a big hole in the ground. Moved here in July of 2015, but was really working on the ballpark going all the way back to design phase in 2013 and 14. So I've been in minor league baseball. This is heading into my 21st season. Prior to this, I worked in Fort Wayne, Indiana for a team called the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. They've got a logo that is much sillier than ours. It's an apple with a pot on its head, which is an ode to Johnny Johnny Appleseed because he was buried in Fort Wayne. So I've been through the process there of building a new ballpark. Was able to talk my wife into moving south to come down here to Columbia, and now it's home for us. We're here and we're lifers. I mean, this is home for us. We love the community. We've moved out to Chapin about 3 years ago, just a little over 3 years ago, and just love it. I mean, it's great. The people are great. The pace is great, and kind of gets me away from the action a little bit, which is kind of nice in some occasions.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when they started building Segra Park and that area of town. I lived there back in, the early 2000s. So to see the revitalization out there has been awesome. And I kind of feel like the ballpark spurred all the growth around it, for sure.
It is, yeah. And really, when you come to it at its core, I don't tell people that I work in baseball. I work in community building, and that's what we've been able to do. Prior to coming here in Fort Wayne, when we built the ballpark downtown was a ghost town in Fort Wayne. And the 10 years prior to building the ballpark, there had been $2 million in private investment in downtown Fort Wayne. The 12 years since the ballpark has been built, it's a huge success story, and the ballpark was the catalyst for all of it. They're up to over 1.2 billion in investment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
In downtown Fort Wayne. So similarly here, I mean, this Bull Street was a tough nut to crack. I mean, for years, decades, trying to figure out how do you do it, because it's massive. I mean, 181 acres that you're trying to do a planned development, but also you've got the perception you're fighting of what Bull Street meant to people who grew up here and have lived here. So not only are you taking on a huge development project, but you're also really trying to change the perception of what it means when you say, I'm going to Bull Street.
Absolutely.
a huge thing, and we probably, in all honesty, underestimated that. Just that is a big challenge. So what we're trying to do is absolutely what you said. We're trying to be the place that drives and is the catalyst. We were the one thing that was brought here to kind of live and function on our own. Because if you brought in a small retail, or if you brought in just an apartment or something like that, it's probably not going to be able to survive on its own. And so we were able to kind of be that catalyst to continue to do that. And it was tough sledding, getting started. And now, thankfully we're seeing some really good fruits from our labor, either under contract, under construction, or already completed. There's now over $750 million in private investment on this site. Wow. So we're really making progress on that front.
Well, I couldn't recognize it. This year actually was very busy for me with the kids and the baseball and coaching. So I was able to go only to one game this season, unfortunately. Okay. Usually I try to go to 10 or more games, but this season was particularly hard. And I just couldn't recognize it. There were so many changes from last year.
Yeah.
And the first thing that comes to my mind is that Major League Stadium that we have around the corner in Atlanta, Segra Park. Yeah. And if we can get that in a lesser scale, obviously, but something like that would be amazing.
Well, see, the funny thing is it won't be a lesser scale. The area around Segra Park, the Battery, mm-hmm. I tell a lot of people this. It's 65 acres. This is 181 acres.
Oh, wow.
Development. So you're talking about a development roughly 3 times the size of the Battery around Atlanta. The size and scope of this, I think people just don't truly understand. When they build the USC Medical School on site, and it's a $350 million campus, with plans to continue to build off of that, even across Hardin Street, along with some of these other large projects that are coming in. I think you're exactly right. It is going to be our Battery or that big kind of entertainment district in town here, and I think that's what we're really building towards.
And that's awesome because we are probably in 25% completion, 15% completion. So this is the time for people to actually jump in, secure real estate on that area, and then in 10 years from now, imagine how much it's going to cost.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just look at the townhomes that were site here. I mean, the first units that were built, it took a little while to get those off the market, but I think they were high 300s, mm-hmm. and now, I mean, you're talking 600, 650, for those condos, and so absolutely, people who are early adopters, they're going to get the benefit of that early investment, and I think even folks across the street from us in Cottontown, talking to them about their property values, some of them have said, hey, I was looking to move, but I'm not now.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, and Cottontown is a very well-established neighborhood, and their prices have always been steady and on the rise.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, Brad, one of the misconceptions, I would think, in my opinion, is that Segra Park is just for baseball. Mm-hmm. Carlos and I have had an opportunity a few years ago to go there for an event that was held by the Central Carolinas Realtors Association. So I know there are different things that go on at the park other than just the baseball games, but you kind of have what I would call your baby that you started this year for the holiday season. So that's really what I'm curious about. So tell us a little bit about what's going on down there right now.
Yeah, so we are in the midst of Fireflies Holiday Nights. So this was something I started working on, and some of our team started working on really when COVID hit. We were February of 2020. I had kind of started having some conversations about, what could we do in the months of November and December in a ballpark that would drive traffic, that would bring people down. Again, the whole thought of this being drive development around us and keep events going year round. So as we talked about it, one of our former employees had worked at a water park, and he said, hey, at the water park, we put up Christmas lights, and we would do all these different things. We'd have activities for families and stuff. And I said, well, let's look into it. So then March hits of 2020, everything stops. Literally for us, I think we were amongst the hardest hit industries. I think, that year we went 560 days without a baseball game. So I guess it was a little over 2 years. Revenue year over year was down 92%. Thankfully we have a great owner that took care of our people. We kept everybody, employed. We had to do all kinds of creative things, but in the midst of all that, there wasn't much going on baseball wise. So it's like, let's dig into this. So we were able to find a partner. At that point, I didn't want to do something that was super high risk, and also, I can hang a couple Christmas lights on our shrubs out front, but I can't do all that we're doing. So we found a great partner. We've got a couple guys that we work with. They've done light shows in the past, all across the country. Really interesting story. Josh, who actually does all of our design and programming for the lights, he would decorate his parents' house growing up. And then, as a 7 or 8 year old, he's doing this, gets to the point when he's in high school that the city comes to his parents and people are trying to sue him because there's too much traffic around. So then this gets in the news and some businesses see it and they say, well, come decorate our business so that we got people driving by our business. So now he travels around and does, shows in Dallas and the Salt Lake City Zoo and different places like that. So we got hooked up with him, and this is our second year. Last year, we learned a lot. It is way different than a baseball game, but we had over 1 million lights in the ballpark. Last year, s'more pits, did some different things for families. This year, we added even more. So we're up to about 1.2 million lights in the ballpark. The cool thing about it is you can go at your own pace, and the other thing is you can come at, it runs from 6 to 9 nightly. You come at 6 o'clock and just park in the parking deck across the street and just walk in and come at your own pace. You don't have to wait in line. There's, it's a big ballpark, so people can kind of do their own thing, find their own space. Right as you come through the gates, I mean, you see it right in front of you, and all of the lights in the seating bowl and on the field, every 2 or 3 songs, they will synchronize with the music. So they'll actually dance with the music and light up. We do tons of different activities for families. Obviously how you met my wife on the PTO, I've got a 7-year-old. So half the time when I'm planning things, I run it past him to see what he would think and get his feedback.
Yeah.
If he's on board with it, we go with it. So,
Brad, what are the dates for the light show?
Yeah, so we will run every day through the 31st of December. The only day we won't be open is Christmas Day. So we'll be open every day, 6 to 9 o'clock. The last day of the year on the 31st, we're going to do 5 to 8 p.m. And do more of like a kids ball drop. Do something for the kids a little bit earlier. We'll have like the sparkling cider and party favors for kids, and we'll do a countdown here earlier. So that the parents can kind of have them do their thing, and then the parents can go do their midnight stuff if they want to. So
awesome. And the cost for the entrance?
It is $12 per person. We do discounts for seniors, military, first responders. They get $2 off their tickets. And then once you get here, that $12 really it covers everything outside of food and beverage. And then we also I also bought a trackless train this year that lights up, so we do train rides around the concourse, and those are $3 per rider. But we literally start in the left field corner and take them all the way around the concourse, and they get to go all the way around. But
that's cool.
There's other free activities for kids. Our conference room, we do crafts in there. We partnered with Home Depot, and they've got little crafts that you can, hammer and put together a little wooden race car. Lexington Medical Center sponsored an area where we've got letters to Santa. So they've got a big mailbox. Kids can sit down, write out their wish list to Santa and put it in the mailbox. And then the big man himself, he's here every night until December 23rd. So Santa is here. We've got an awesome sleigh where kids can hop in the sleigh with him, obviously make their requests, let them know if they've been naughty or nice, and get some good pictures as well. But I think probably the biggest hit has been the s'mores. We've got about 20 fire pits out in the right field corner, and people can buy s'more kits and roast marshmallows, and people just, there's something about just like it's a really cool scene because you're sitting at a fire in a ballpark with all these lights. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing.
It definitely sounds like a fun activity. I'm going to bring my son and my family over there and check it out. To be honest with you, I didn't pay much attention into it. But now digging deeper into what can you actually do, you can actually spend the whole afternoon in there. And you have concession too. You're selling food. I'm pretty sure you do.
Yeah,
so
we've
you can
got
have dinner there.
Yeah, we've got, I mean, you can get concessions and food. We've got funnel cakes. We do our own donuts that they actually, throw in the fryer and do like some cinnamon donuts. We've got desserts that you can take on the go, popcorn, adult beverages, which, is always nice because you can have something for the kids and for the adults. And then, there's also nights where we'll have holiday vendors set up under a tent out in left field that are selling wreaths and Christmas ornaments, different things like that. And we hooked up with a funny story. One of our sales reps is from North Carolina, and his first job, he was a football player. He worked for his offensive line coach on a Christmas tree farm. And his job was to fertilize saplings and Christmas trees. And then these guys go around and sell Christmas trees at different places. So we hooked up with them. So they actually have a Christmas tree lot in our center field concourse. So they're selling live Christmas trees, wreaths, everything. Just, again, a lot of the local neighborhoods love it because otherwise they're driving out to the suburbs to get a live tree. And then, they've got the little table topper ones for some of the apartments around the area and different things. So just what we found is, we want to provide as much activity as we can. Because like you said, if it's, hey, I walked through, I saw the lights for 20 minutes and that's not enough value. And so, I said, Kelly, who's my wife, I said, let's go this year just as fans. And I said, I don't want, like, her family was in town. I said, I'm not gonna work. I'm not gonna do any of that. I said, we're gonna do it like a family. And we were here, and we probably didn't do everything, but we were here for a little over 2 hours. And I mean, and it went by like that. You can go down on the field. I forgot to even mention that. That's one of the biggest things for kids and especially baseball fans. Like, you can actually go on the field and walk around the warning track, and there's displays all around the warning track. There's a light tunnel in center field. So even just that, seeing kids, like, I remember distinctly one of the first times we had it open. I was just directing traffic, and I said, hey, if you guys want to go down on the field, just go down this aisle that's got the snowflakes lit up down it. And this kid said, I can go on the field.
Do you have police on the bases just in case somebody thinks about stealing a base?
No police, but we've got people watching. So you got to be careful with that. But no, it's even just that. Like, I mean, it's just a totally unique thing. And it's gotten a lot of attention just from other teams too. I had other GMs of teams, coming to me at the winter meetings and saying, hey, I'm seeing these videos and the pictures of your ballpark. How do we do that? And so it's kind of cool to have something that now, other people are taking a look at and saying, okay, how can we kind of model after this? And so that's fun, and hey, we're all in the same business and they're in different markets. So I'll help them out and try and get them going if we can.
Absolutely. Well, I've heard great things, and we have plans to bring our kids week after next. So we're looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Brad, moving forward, what's next for the rest of now you close the lights on December 31st, and I'm sure that there is a downtime, in theory, between that date and spring training. Yeah,
so this month is crazy. The other thing that we've seen, and like you guys probably saw at the event you came to, we've also got a great special events area where we can do banquets and stuff. We went from having, I think, 8 to 10 Christmas parties a year. This year we have 23. So
nice.
All the lights are going on. They're up in the suite level, so they can look down at the lights. I mean, it's awesome. So once we get through all that, the lights, it takes about 28 days to put them up, but it only takes about 10 days to take them down. So that'll be like a mid-January. And then the nice thing with our show is the guys we work with, they actually rotate our show around. So the displays that you'll see on the field this year will be totally different next year, and they'll rotate in different lights and things. So we get done with that, and then, even even while we have the lights going on, we're already working towards baseball season, getting our promotional schedule together, trying to figure out, what are the giveaways that we're going to do? When are we doing fireworks? What are the different events we're going to have going on during the year? This year we are actually we're going to unveil an alternate identity. Which a lot of teams do now. So that'll be a fun one. I think people will really like it around here. It's very, very Southern, and I think people will really get a kick out of it. It's a fun logo and just something different. So we'll change our name and become this team for a couple weekends and some Friday nights this year.
I love when you do the chicharrones.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna do the couple weekends. So the chicharrones will be back to that again. So it's minor league baseball. It's fun, and so much of what we do is we focus on the entertainment. I was in Nashville and was meeting with the Royals guys and talking to them, and they're focused on who are we going to get in the Rule 5 draft and what's our draft pick going to be for next year and all these things. And when I'm talking with other minor league baseball guys, they're talking about how can we do more stuff for families in our ballpark? What can we do to draw more people in, to have fun? What are the things we can do to entertain? And that's really what we focus on is the entertainment aspect, because my wife is a barometer for me. She really could care less about baseball, not a huge sports fan. So we're that's my balance, is when I get out of here, I'm not talking about baseball or sports or anything, but she will tell me like, hey, you guys need to do more of X, Y, or Z. And really that's helpful for us, because mom is usually the one making the decision on like, hey, are we going to a baseball game? Are we going to the zoo? Are we going to, some other entertainment option? And so we want to really provide something that is fun, whether you like baseball or not. This has got to be a place that families are going to want to come out and enjoy.
Yeah, and that stadium is so beautiful. And there's one thing. There was and I don't recall seeing it when it came in this year, and it was Philly cheesesteak, but with the ghost pepper sauce, and it was extremely hot.
We still have that. So we had rearranged some carts this past year, and I think we had moved in street tacos to where that was, just to kind of see if it makes a difference. We had a lot of people like you that said I couldn't find the Philly this year, so it's moving back.
Awesome! You got one my heart.
Make that guarantee. So but I will tell you, that Reaper sauce is,
Oh, it was it was
memorable.
It was hot. It was very hot. It got me sweating.
Absolutely. I tried it, and I usually like some hot things, but I'm not a super hot guy. And I was a couple bites in. I'm like, no, I can't do this. I'm gonna pay for this later.
So Brad, when does the season open?
So we actually open it'll be the first week of April.
Okay.
So right around, I think April 6th is our opening day. We open on a Tuesday this year. So it may be a little bit later, but we'll be starting up the first week of April and getting going. We may have some events obviously in between, that January timeframe in the season. We've had some college baseball games in the past that we've hosted and different things like that. So, kind of keep your eyes open for those, because those usually come about, right around the first of the year is when we kind of announce those.
Okay.
And just since we got you here, I got a couple questions. The first one is people working on the stadium. It's obviously a seasonal thing. So how many people do you operate on a yearly basis, and how many people operate when it's only baseball season?
Right. So annually, full-time employees, we have right around 30 full-time employees. We've gone between 25 and 30, but usually it's closer to 30. And then seasonally, from January through the end of September, we have about 10 to 12 interns, full-time interns that are really, basically full-time staff members. We lean on them a lot. On game days and for special events and other things like that, lots of part-time workers. Over the course of a year, probably about 500. On a busy night, between parking, ushers, ticket takers, kids zone, concessions, which is a huge animal. You're probably talking 200, 250 part-time employees on a big night.
And whoever is listening and wants to work for the Fireflies, you go to the website. They're opening right there.
If they go to ColumbiaFireflies.com, there's a tab that they can click for employment, and they can actually just apply online. Now we usually start in earnest right around the end of January is when we start kind of doing that. We usually do a couple job fairs too, just, so that people can come out, interview quick and get going on things. But we have a mix. It's a lot of our ushers are kind of, maybe retired folks that they like being at games. They want something to keep them busy. We've got some food and beverage that, are people who are just, they work in different restaurants and things like that. We've got, lots of college kids that do it as a summer job. We have some, we have a couple bartenders that are teachers, and they love it because it gives them a little bit of an outlet from the kids.
Yeah.
They have adult fun and obviously they make some tips and make some extra money over the summer, which is good too. So we're really a big mix, but yeah, they're all members of our team, because so much of what we do, if y'all come to a game, there's a good chance you don't ever interact with one of our full-time staff members, but you're probably going to interact with the ticket taker, the venue safety officer, the usher, the concessions worker. So much of what we do, we lean on them heavily to provide that experience for people. So it's a really important part of what we do.
And I must say, I've been to, I don't know, hundreds different stadiums, and the attitude of the people working for the Firefly is always top notch. It's always, it's Southern hospitality at its best. And now that I got you talking about hiring people, I have a friend that if you're looking for an infielder, he's gonna be around 42 years old, so he might be slower on the sides, but I know him. Just let me know.
Gotcha.
I think I know that friend too.
Like? It's still pretty good, The only thing is, after throwing for a couple of days in a row, he cannot sign. But it's still hurting. But it's just a friend, okay?
Yeah, okay. Well, and it's funny because you mentioned, Juan Soto, obviously, signed up with the Yankees, and so funny story with him. I run around our concourse a lot of times, like in the afternoons, like before games and things. And so I was running. Opposite team was taking batting practice, and sometimes when a guy hits the ball, like, it just sounds different.
Oh,
yeah. It sounds different to the bat, you know what I mean? And it stopped me in my tracks. Some guys in the batting cage, and I looked down, I see his number. I said, okay, I'll look, see who it is later tonight, because he was just hitting balls out, boom, 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 going. And so then later that night, I'm walking around the concourse talking to people, same sound, and the ball goes 450 feet to the parking lot in right field, and it was Juan Soto.
Nice.
He was here.
And he was 14 years old at that point.
Well, he was 18.
Wow.
In our league, that was in early May. He crushed us. I mean, he hit a ball out to center field, which is nearly impossible here, and he was in the big leagues by July.
Oh yeah!
Wow!
Oh yeah! He got in the major leagues when he was 19 years old. I mean, that's it. This is a generational talent. And well, we're running out of time, and now now we had a subject that I can talk about for the next 5 hours.
That's right. Well, we'll have to have you back, Brad, right before opening day, so we can find out what all you have planned for the season.
Absolutely.
And I appreciate y'all, talking with me. I get pretty excited about these holiday lights, so hopefully I was able to give you some good information for people to know, just if they want to come out and enjoy.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
We will definitely be there and meet you in person at the stadium.
Awesome.
Are you there every night?
I hope not.
Wife would not.
Remember, he said he had a family.
Last year, for the first year, I was here more than I would like to be.
We'll give you a heads up.
We've got a really good staff, and so they've taken on some leadership with that, and so it's been nice. I don't have to be here every night. I a couple times a week maybe.
Yeah, we will give you a heads up when we go over there. Awesome, Brad. Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
All right, thanks.
Take care.
That was cool.
knew you would enjoy that.
Thank you so much for bringing baseball on December.
You are so welcome. So they have a really cool thing going down there. And I think those of us who have been in the area for a while have really enjoyed seeing the growth and the revitalization of the Bull Street district. But I really love that the Fireflies are putting on events for the community throughout the year.
I really wasn't aware of the magnitude of the plans. I mean, I knew it was a big project, and I knew there were billions of dollars getting involved in the development, commercial and residential in the area. But when you compare it with Segra Park in Atlanta,
right?
And this is a bigger area,
3 times the size.
That's insane.
When it's built out, it could be 3 times the size.
I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna. Good thing that we're recording, guys. For everybody that's asking for investment advice, early, how do you call it? Early investment? No,
Early entry.
No, early entry is it's what's gonna get you very profitable, and this is probably the time. You know, if the project goes the way it's planned, and you know, it's hard to not believe that it's hard to believe that it's not going to happen.
I think it's definitely going to happen. I mean, especially when you hear about, and you and I hear about it a lot more, but all the industrial growth that's going on in, I mean, I would say within a 75 to 100 mile radius from Columbia, what's going to happen to this area in the next 10 years is unreal.
Yeah, I mean, I always say I'd like to compare Columbia with Charlotte 20 years ago. And that area right there, I mean, that's going to be prime. That's probably as a slam dunk as you can get. And early adopters.
Early adopters, yeah. So great opportunity for people looking for an investment. Great area, potential for growth. But I'm super excited about just going down to see the holiday lights.
I know you are.
I know. I'm such a sucker for Christmas activities.
I'm excited to be in a baseball field in December.
Yeah, you too. So win-win for all of us, right?
Oh, I'm definitely getting into the field. That's a beautiful stadium. It really is. It's nice. It's spacious. It's pretty. It's well designed, and the people. I can't tell enough. The people working in there, all the ushers, I never had a single bad experience in there. You know, like saying, "Oh, that guy was rude." Not at all. You know, they're always with a smile. They're always helping. They're always eager to help and just be nice. You know.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful place to be.
It's a great place. So go visit Columbia Fireflies, their holiday lights, and you might even see us there.
Maybe.